Hello, welcome to Biology Lab Online with Mr. Wilson here. So this is a lab that we would normally do in class. You actually could do it at home fairly easily. You can do this with almost any medicine cabinet type thing. I bet you could do it with most Advils, especially if they're the chalk type and stuff like that. But I thought for this year it'd just be easier to do this as a demo. So we're going to try to go over mechanical digestion. Mechanical digestion is the act of breaking things down by force to break them into smaller pieces to help the digestive process go faster. And it's meant to get you as to the why of why this happens. So I'm going to ask you to remember all the way back to physical science, for those of you that had it last year, to a lab that we did with effervescent tablets. One of my favorite science words is effervescence. It's bubbly. Also called Alka-Seltzer by its more brand name. So what I have is just some effervescence tablets. And it's just the off-brand. And if you haven't used one of these before, which most of your generation and my generation hasn't, you just throw them in some water and they bubble. Effervescence means bubble. And we did a lab actually in physical science where we measured the different times and tried to affect the rate of reaction differently. And one of those was crushing it. So I'm actually going to put this one off to the side now that you see what's going on. And we're going to run a quick experiment. Now I'm going to have two beakers. One's going to be a regular tablet that is not crushed. And one of them is going to be a crushed up tablet. Now crushing up, physically crushing it like I'm about to do, is supposed to represent chewing. Your stomach does a little bit of crushing too, but more or less this is the process of chewing. You use your teeth and you grind things into smaller pieces. That's what you do before it goes down your esophagus and into your stomach. So I crush that tablet up, and now I have a full tablet and a crushed up tablet. I'm going to put them in at the same time. And we're going to compare how fast the reactions go. And hopefully we see what I want us to see. So 3, 2, 1. Both plopped in. So I got a little powder in there. And one of the first things I noticed is that this one is happening much more. There's much more bubbles. There's just more going on in my crushed up tablet one. And visually, I know it's hard to see on the camera all the time, but it definitely is disappearing quite a bit faster. The little pieces are disappearing in a hurry, whereas this one is still a fairly large piece yet. But we'll reserve judgment until the bubbling stops. If you remember, the bubbling stopping, it was hard to judge in this lab when you did it in physical science. So actually, I'm going to revise what I said earlier and just go off of when all of the tablet disappears. This tablet is gone. So this one is done. This one still has a few chunks going on. Although it wasn't too much after. It's maybe like 10 seconds after, and now it's done too. And that's because I didn't crush it down very much. I just did a little bit so you could see it. And then we can still get that comparison, though, that the one that was more crushed up, that had more surface area exposed, went faster. It was more violent, and it happened a lot faster. And what's going on here, once again, from physical science, hopefully you did an activity like this, is that when you crush something up, you expose more of its center area. So those of you that math, each one of these cubes is 1, so each side is 4. Right now this has a surface area of 16. Or no, not 16. Yeah, 4 times 6, 24, sorry. But if I break it open, if I open up and expose more squares, now I've exposed 8 more squares by breaking open the middle. 8 more squares, 24 plus 8 is 32 squares of surface area now. And now there's more collisions that can happen. There's more reactions that can happen. And that's what makes it go faster. Break it up more. I'm just keep exposing more and more of those interior surface areas. And that allows more and more collisions to happen. Collision theory and chemical reactions from physical science still affecting your life, still affecting your day-to-day biology experience. Hopefully that makes sense. Make sure to write all that down in lab and finish your lab sheet based on this information. Thank you very much.